It's amazing to me that, songwriting is done pretty much in solitude.
At my age, when I get up in the morning, just the thought of being able to sit down later on in the afternoon.
At 88 years old, Bill Gaither stands as a monumental figure in gospel music, his name synonymous with a sound and community that has touched millions of lives. However, his journey has been far from simple, marked by personal hardships, professional challenges, and moments of profound heartbreak that have tested his resolve. For decades, his music has provided comfort and hope, but his own story, especially the private thoughts behind the public persona, has remained largely unsaid. He once reflected that songwriting is often a solitary act, a private process that happens in the quiet moments of the morning. This private nature of creation stands in stark contrast to the massive public empire he has built. His story begins in humble settings. A young man from Indiana who first chose a path as an English teacher after graduating from Anderson College in 1959. Even then, his love for music was strong, leading him to form the Bill Gaither Trio with his siblings. It was a tough balance, juggling full-time teaching with the demands of a blossoming music career, but his passion for gospel music eventually won out. In 1967, he made the brave decision to leave his teaching job and devote himself entirely to music, a move that would change his life and the landscape of Christian music forever. His big break came in 1964 with the song "You Touched Me," which quickly became a gospel standard. He married Gloria Sickle, who became his perfect partner in both life and songwriting. Together, they created a legendary partnership, with Gloria crafting the powerful lyrics and Bill composing the unforgettable melodies. They created hundreds of songs that became cherished parts of worship for countless believers, laying a foundation for modern gospel music with messages of faith, hope, and God's ever-present grace. Their journey was a story of love and dedication, fueled by a deep belief that their songs could bring people closer to God. This core purpose, born from a simple beginning, would be the anchor for the powerful and busy organization that would grow around them, a force that would shape the gospel world for years to come. As the years passed, Bill Gaither's influence expanded far beyond simple church gatherings. The Gaither Homecoming Concerts, which began as informal sessions among friends, grew into enormous events held in large arenas across the country. This evolution brought with it a level of professionalism and spectacle that was new to the gospel music scene. Suddenly, what was once a free or low-cost event became a ticketed show, with prices ranging from $50 to $100. The concert halls were no longer just filled with music, but also with tables selling CDs, mugs, t-shirts, and songbooks. For many fans, this was an exciting development, bringing better sound, comfortable seats, and a high-quality experience. However, this change also drew criticism from some, especially those from smaller churches who remembered a different era. They argued that gospel music was turning into an expensive show, a Gaither money machine that was commercializing worship. Pastors wrote articles asking if spiritual experiences had become a commodity, worrying that families with tight budgets might be priced out of the experience. Bill Gaither did not ignore these criticisms. He responded openly, explaining the practical business reasons behind the changes. He clarified that renting large arenas, hiring professional crews, and covering insurance costs were far more expensive than a church hall. He explained that advanced ticket sales helped them avoid debt and that a portion of the profits supported new recordings, music scholarships, and mission work. Gaither maintained that sound business practices were essential for reaching a wider audience with their message. Over time, the tension eased into a respectful disagreement. While critics still raised concerns about rising prices, most fans accepted the trade-off, finding the professional quality and uplifting music to be worth the cost. This growth was not without reason, as the Gaither Music Company evolved into a multifaceted empire that handled concert bookings, television productions, retail operations, and more, all from the foundation of Bill's original vision. The challenges Bill Gaither faced were not just about money or business. They also touched on complex matters of faith and compassion. One of the most talked about moments came from a homecoming gathering in Phoenix, Arizona. In 2002, this was an informal event where many gospel singers came together to share stories and songs, which was later filmed for a DVD. One of the guests was Marcia Stevens, a well-known singer from the 1970s Jesus music scene, famous for writing the song For Those Tears I Died. Years after her initial success, Marcia publicly shared that she was gay and had begun leading worship in churches that accepted same-sex relationships. Controversy erupted when photos from the Phoenix event were shared in conservative newsletters. One image showed Bill and Gloria smiling next to Marcia and her partner, while another captured Bill laughing and calling Marcia a real saint. For many who hold a traditional view that the Bible forbids same-sex relationships, seeing these images was deeply shocking. Christian magazines were flooded with letters, and some pastors called for a boycott of Gaither's videos, accusing him of being too soft on sin. Bill Gaither responded quickly with a calm and measured statement. He explained that the homecoming table was meant to show Christian love to everyone, and inviting someone to sing did not mean he endorsed every part of their life. He reminded his critics that Jesus often shared meals with people whose choices upset the religious leaders of his time. Gaither reaffirmed his traditional view of marriage, but stressed the importance of treating all guests with kindness and respect. Most of his fans accepted his explanation, understanding his message of grace and open doors. This episode showed how quickly misunderstandings could spread, especially with the rise of the internet. But it also highlighted Bill's commitment to his core belief in showing Christian love, even when some didn't agree with the choices of the people he welcomed. The scope of Gaither's influence became tragically clear on July 26, 2024, when a devastating plane crash struck the gospel music world. The well-known family gospel group, the Nellens, was on their way to join the Gaither homecoming Alaska cruise when their small aircraft went down in Campbell County, Wyoming. The crash claimed the lives of 3 key members: Kelly Nellen Clark, her husband Jason Clark, and their daughter Amber Nellen Kistler. Just hours before the tragedy, the family had posted a cheerful video on Instagram, smiling and sharing their excitement about the journey. The crash site was remote, and firefighters worked through the night to control a large fire near the wreckage. While the loss was deeply painful, there was a glimmer of hope as it was revealed that Autumn Nellen Streetman, Jason and Kelly's youngest daughter, and her husband Jaime, had not been on the plane. They had made it safely to Seattle, where they were told the terrible news. There, they were joined by other artists at a hotel, where friends and fellow performers gathered to comfort them with prayers, songs, and support. The Gaither management team later confirmed that Autumn and Jaime had returned home to be with Kelly's brother, Todd Nellen, and his wife Rhonda, as they faced the painful process ahead. During all of this, the gospel community looked to Bill Gaither for his response. When he finally broke his silence several months later, he released a touching video tribute to the Nellens. In the video, he shared special memories from the first time Kelly's father, Rex Nellen, appeared on the Gaither stage to seeing little Amber sing as a young girl. The week of the tribute was also the first time Autumn joined the Gaithers for a new taping since the crash, a significant step forward for the grieving community. In his tribute, Bill described the tragedy as a part of God's plan, a heartbreaking but a well-expected sentiment for many fans, confirming their long-held thoughts about his faith-centered perspective on such events. Today, Bill Gaither's journey from a humble English teacher to a global icon in gospel music, a powerful story of dedication, faith, and business savvy. The Gaither Music Company he built is not just a record label, but a vast and busy empire that handles concert bookings through the Gaither Management Group, produces television shows, manages copyrights, and operates a retail store. The company, even has its own animation studio, Live Bait Productions, led by Bill's son, Benji. This powerful organization allowed Bill and Gloria to mentor many younger Christian artists and keep earlier stars in the spotlight. The Gaither Vocal Band has featured a rotating cast of talented singers over the years, including well-known names like Mark Lowry, Michael English, and David Phelps, all of whom grew in fame while touring with the Gaithers. The Homecoming Tour, which began in 1991, brought together top stars from both Southern gospel and contemporary Christian music, sparking a fresh wave of interest in both styles. These tours have sold over 1.1 million tickets worldwide and have performed at famous venues like the Kennedy Center and Carnegie Hall, even outranking big names like Elton John and Rod Stewart in ticket sales at one point. The success of the Gaither Homecoming series transformed the industry, making gospel music a massive, celebratory event. Through it all, Bill and Gloria Gaither's creative partnership has remained the heart of the empire, producing more than 700 gospel songs. Music, filled with soul and prayer, has stood the test of time, with songs like Because He Lives and The King is Coming continuing to bring hope and comfort to millions. For over 60 years, they have stayed true to their purpose, no matter how much the world changed or what challenges they faced. Their mission was always to use music to bring people closer to God, and their enduring legacy proves they succeeded in that mission beyond all measure.